I'm fully aware of the mechanics of and dynamics of the, the intrigues of what is going on in Kano with regards to the traditional institution. I will not try to take sides but be objective, even though I'm an interested party. But I'll tell this real straight to every one of us. Let us not turn this into a home video. The gentleman, with all due respect, that is talking about the balkanization of the Emirates brought development to that area is insulting the leadership of Kano, the political leaders, the religious leaders, the traditional leaders. What happened to the government? We have a governor who has a mandate. We have local government chairman, even though we know they are hamstrung. We have senators. We have House of Rep members. Since when the traditional rulers become the operatives of bringing dividends of good governance in the locality? So it is when there was a carved out of beach Emirates that suddenly, after almost 50 years of existence, then development came to that place. This is an insult on the intelligence of people. Let's come back to the main issue. Personally, like I said, as a child of traditional institution, as a Nigerian, and as someone that believes that as Africans, we should protect our traditional institutions. Balkanizing Emirates and traditional institutions or sacking them every now and then, inadvertently creating a window and precedence where we'll be having new governor, new traditional ruler, will demystify the traditional institution and make them useless. Let me take you back a bit and remind you, Ibrahim and Veronica, what you know. Kano State traditional institution is over 1,000 years old. It used to be one of the largest and biggest traditional empires across the Sahel. Over time, the colonials came and then they stratified us, and it's not new. The same with Oyo Empire, the same with Benin Empire, and every other areas. Now, as time goes on, the scope of the span of influence and all that has been reducing over time. I don't think balkanization of an institution like Kano is the solution. And let us not forget, let us go back to the intent. Economic merchants and politicians from time immemorial have been the ones distorting our institutions, and we are sitting by thinking it's okay. Very soon, the traditional institutions will disappear, and then we'll lose our identities, whether it is Kano or Oyo or Lagos or Onitsha, everywhere. So let's not start, diminishing the span of influence, of these institutions with regards to the value they add to the society. As fathers, as religious figures, most of these traditional leaders are even religious leaders and spiritual leaders and custodians of our culture and tradition. Balkanizing emirates or kingdoms is not the solution, but that the traditional institutions themselves and members of the traditional institution, for example, now, whether it is Emir Amina Ado Bayero or Emir Nasira Ado Bayero or Emir Muhammad Sanusi II, to recognize that from time immemorial, they are supposed to be the masters of strategy and long-term vision. And now it appears outsiders, quote and unquote, whether the colonial masters that came for slavery to buy their subjects and give them bottles of whiskey or whatever, or now politicians, destabilizing them and using them, turning the table of the chess. It is so sad that traditional leaders are becoming pawns in a chess game that they are supposed to be grandmasters. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, the Emirate of Kano is becoming more demystified. Before the balkanization, it was one of the biggest emirates in Nigeria, I dare say, because it's bestriding a state with over about 44 local governments. Now, whether this will help the poor people, because all the people talking are people like us that are elitist taking side. Have we heard from the poor people in every location to say, what difference does it make? Whether it is Emir Muhammad Sanusi II or Emir Ado Bayero or the Balkanized areas. Don't forget also, one of the emirs had actually conceded and said whatever happens, the Emir of Gai said, however it comes, he's not going to contest, he's ready to move with the new status quo that will entail. So Nigerians and citizens should look carefully at what is happening in Kano and going forward to understand that politicians are inadvertently killing our traditional institutions. At the twilight of the administration of Yahaya Bello, former governor of Okogi, he destroyed or he deposed two emirs that for over 100 years have been critical pillars of peace and stability of Kogi, even in the older day Kwara. And one of them is the emir of Kotonkarifi. He deposed the emir because of political difference and exiled him to Rijau in Niger State. So for the other traditional institutions that are sitting pretty watching, it is becoming a norm that at the end of the day, we may not have an enduring traditional institution again, which has started right from the 1841s, Oba, Akitoye of Lagos, who became emir, Oba, and was deposed, and he had issue with Kosoko, his brother, and then later the British Empire returned him. So the traditional institutions and their custodians should recognize that together they are better. A house that is divided will not stand. For citizens to recognize, we still need to identify with our traditional core values and spirituality to remain Africans. Let us not lose our originality. Let us not become also pawns in the hands of politicians that have serially failed to deliver dividends of democracy and focus on the issues. Challenge the traditional institution to do the right thing and challenge politicians to deliver dividends of democracy. But this infighting is a distraction for you and I so that people will not deliver. Balkanization of emirate or consolidation of emirate is not the issue. What is the price of Gari today? Can they pay, the people in Bichi or in Kano, can they pay for